Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Indian River County Chamber's candidate interview series. I'm joined by Marc Jaffe. He's running for District 4 County Commission. Thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Would you like to start out by telling the audience a little bit about yourself and what brought you to this point?
I think the most important thing for the people of Indian River County to know about me is that I moved here in 1996 when I was 10. I married my high school sweetheart, who I knew was the one the day that I met her in 9th grade. We have 2 boys together that we're raising here in Vero Beach that are both in the public school system. And so I'm deeply invested in the future of Indian River County.
Nice. So what motivated you to run for county commissioner in this upcoming election? And if you are elected, what are your top priorities?
Well, as you can imagine, I definitely did not dream of becoming a county commissioner. And had you asked me 3 years ago, I would have told you there was no chance I was ever going to get involved in politics. What had happened was the work that I do with a non-for-profit organization in town, one of the leaders left, and I was asked to fill in some of their roles. And that put me in some rooms, in particular with the school district, where I learned essentially firsthand about a lot of the challenges and things that living here you might not notice are happening, like homelessness. And as I went down that path and as I continued to engage in those activities, I learned more and more and more, and it became clear that we needed leadership that served everybody.
Great. Yeah, we have a very diverse community here, a lot of wealth and also a lot of poverty at the same time, so definitely important. So you're in District 4, and that includes much of the South County or a portion of the South County, a lot of residential there. But then as well, there's a kind of a commercial and industrial corridor there along Old Dixie. Mm-hmm. So for your particular district, what do you see as the biggest opportunities and challenges in the next 4 years?
So I've lived in District 4 since I moved here in 1996. I've spent the majority of the time living off of 5th Street Southwest and a little bit of time off of Oslo Road and 33rd Avenue, which is where I spent the most time raising my kids. And I think that as far as industrial corridors, as far as affordable housing and neighborhood development in South Vero, I think the biggest challenge is going to be how do we grow sustainably and how do we add rooftops while adding value to the community. So as most people know, we've got thousands and thousands of homes going up in District 4, just south of Oslo Road. We have an Oslo Road interchange that's coming, which I suspect will bring major industrial business to our district. So it will be the challenge of balancing new businesses, small businesses, big businesses, and affordable housing with quality of life.
Great. So as you know, speaking of business, the Chamber of Commerce supports local businesses in our community and also works to attract outside companies to move here. So what do you see the role of the County Commission playing in supporting the small businesses that are here, as well as attracting quality employers, paying a livable wage to improve our economic quality of life?
So we want the Board of County Commissioners to play a role. We don't want them to play an oversized role. We're not asking the county commissioners to legislate rules that require businesses to do X, Y, Z. What we are expecting the county to do is have a plan in place and make decisions that are aligned with that plan. And affordable housing has to be part of that plan. And so when we allow developers to come in and build 500, 600, 700 and more $1,000 homes, we also have to build affordable housing so that people that work at regular jobs, for example, at like Piper, can actually afford to live in Indian River County. We cannot attract industry. We cannot attract commercial businesses. We cannot stand up new small business enterprises if their affordable wage eats up their profit. There has to be affordable housing so that people that work for them can afford to live here and those businesses can be profitable.
Yeah. So, final question. If elected, what would success look like for you at the end of your first term, and how would you measure your effectiveness as a commissioner?
Well, I'm definitely not going to measure it by number of rooftops, more the value that each rooftop brings to the quality of life of Indian River County. As far as KPIs go, I think that KPIs, as far as how we measure where we are and where we've gotten, I think that's something that needs to be done on a collaborative basis with the Board of County Commissioners. There are data points that I am unaware of at this time that I believe will be used for those metrics. For example, how many new business permits were issued, right? How many new home permits were issued, right? I think that there also needs to be more community engagement. I would really like to see a district by district incentivized survey so that residents of the community can actually respond in real time to things that are happening. For example, we recently got an upgrade at Dick Bird Park, the LED sports field lights. If you play disc golf, you know that we have a beautiful disc golf course down there. I would love to hear from the community and see if that's something they really appreciate or if it's just a novelty thing that a few people enjoy.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you would like to say before we go, or anything we haven't covered? Feel free to also tell the viewers about your campaign information, how to find you in the future.
Well, votemarcjaffe.com. It's vote Marc, M-A-R-C, Jaffe, J-A-F like in family, F like in family E.com. Check me out, ask me questions, sign up to contribute, to volunteer, to have a yard sign. I think the thing that I want everyone to understand about my run for county commissioner is that I care deeply about the environment, all things that end in the lagoon. I care about small businesses and streamlining the small business process. I don't think that it's done fairly today, and I think that we can do a lot better. I think that it's obvious that affordable housing is a crisis in Indian River County. And there are people, there are organizations, and there are plans in place that simply need to be allowed to happen to resolve a lot of it. And then lastly, I'm a transparency and accountability kind of guy. I am extremely public. If you Google Marc Jaffe, Vero Beach, you will find everything there is to find about me. And that's not going to change when I become county commissioner. I am not going to make my personal information private so that you can only contact me through the county. If you're going to vote, vote for change.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today and doing our interview. And I also wanted to thank you for your willingness to serve the people of Indian River County. It's very important. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too.